Hey Panda, we're just looking at the phantom idea that you proposed, where I'm trying to keep the build a little simple here, where the hunter 400% is how we're going to get our MP back from the exterminate. Each hit is going to just be a flat MP recovery. So when you apply all your assassinate marks, and also when you execute it. So that's Hunter 400%. And quite literally everything else I have on the Assassin is just for these stats. I am not using Samurai 600%. I'm not using Assassin 400%. Just kind of the heads up, the route that this Exterminate took us, or took me, was HP damage. Uh, so as a result of that HP damage, I have on every single piece of gear, if I can, strength for that damage or for more of it, agility, uh, not so much for the damage directly, but for the impact of barrage, where I get more hits if my agility eclipses the enemy's agility. So uh, instead of just getting one hit per assassinate mark, I might get two to four hits per assassinate mark. So if I get like instead of hitting them only 10 times or 7, that might turn into 28 or 40 hits. And then yeah, then I this specific route was looking for the highest damage dealt that I can find. Damage dealt also impacts break damage. So if you were going for a break damage route, damage dealt assassinate is still what you would want on those. For me, it also is what I want to for HP damage. Another big thing for me, or for you, will be the MP cost assassinate. If you can find any, just to keep your assassinate costs lower than to get your cost lower than what you spend. So, not I'm sorry, to make your MP recovery higher than what you spend to cast it. Sorry about that. And then instead of using Paladin 400%, I ended up using status ailment resistance on several pieces of my gear. I have the rest in the master points on that one. You do not have to do this. If you have Paladin 400% or the Ribbon, or you don't care about getting silenced, paralyzed, or petrified, then you can skip the status ailment resistance. Um, those tend to take me out of the game though, so I do keep them on. Um, and then I have the damage taken at max HP purely to help uh, my in this case Lionheart or the Invincible Knight 400% to keep that not from going down a little slower when I do get hit before trials get turned on. There's some trials like Enemy Attacks Deplete Buffs that no matter what, that's going to eat a Lightbringer up with very, very, very few exceptions. Um, of which Phantom will not, except for Swordsman, uh, we and Void Knight, we're probably out of luck on that one, uh, and also because I'm not soul shielding or parrying or guarding. But if you're dodging, you'll be fine. Where was I going with that? Uh, so yeah, MP cost is low. So as an example, when I cast my exterminates, at this point I'm losing 30 MP instead of all 100. And the idea here is that if I hit the enemy, they're probably I have to use exterminate twice to start getting MP back normally. But now the combination of that hunter 400% and the actual hits, I'm going to be getting MP back no matter what. I take that back. As long as the enemy is alive to be hit, I'm going to get MP back. I am using the lance just because of the route that I chose. The extra physical attack helps for the HP damage, but if you're using the break damage route, you should be fine either way. Um, Not that it doesn't impact it, it's just more, you'll be fine. Mighty Strikes, because I'm doing the HP damage route, I am using Mighty Strikes, and then the Barrage to get, Mighty Strikes to bypass the enemy's defense, physical defense, and then the Lunatic just so that I move a little bit faster and get things done a little quicker. And I forget if I actually, oops, looked at the master points. I don't think I did. Let's see. Okay, so strength on this route, because I'm doing HP damage. If you're focused on break damage, do not put any points into strength. Do not have strength anywhere on your gear. You will be fine. Using pure agility if you are focused on critical hits. So, yep, I do have agility because I want my barrage to get more hits in. And the assassin was just a stat dump at this point. Damage taken, trying to get that up to 100%. The damage dealt is just the highest one I can find. And then a little bit of status ailment resistance because I did not want to put that on gear at the time. So that's the assassin side, and then your buffer that will vary from playstyle to playstyle. I chose something offensive for HP damage. If you are not doing HP damage, do not use Hunter. Um, versus if you're doing break damage, Monk is the way to go. If you were just trying to survive a bit more, Ninja for the Utsemi will help you survive in that front. And then there's other ways you can play around with just different jobs. Like, but I'm sorry, going back to the goal, the idea was to use Exterminate as our pretty much one and only offensive move. Maybe there's a normal attack here or there, but we're going to try to make Exterminate work all the way. So Hunter, the main things that were job affinity wise are Cyclic Warrior, 600%. I'm sorry. So this whole thing is, we call it Lightbringer spam. It's going to be Cyclic Warrior 600%, Void Knight 400%, Evoker 120% for some reason. And completely optional, but I like having it, is Summoner 400%, so that every time we do... Oh, I'm sorry, and one more thing. The Leviathan on the... this is on the battle setting side, this is what we're going to have. And then on the Master Point side of things, we have... the most important thing here is the increase MP limit boost rate, so that your Lightbringer spam helps you stay, with all this paired together, the idea is that you stay ahead of the MP loss caused from Lightbringer. The other thing that you want to have for this to work is some Soul Shield MP recovery. And right now I have nothing in the Spirit, so it's just going to be the Soul Shield MP recovery. And what that'll end up doing is when you use the Lightbringer, if you're level 300, you're going to get your MP back with no trials on. If you are like level 250, you're going to lose like... You could lose as much as 16 MP by the time you finish using this. So you'll have to find some other way to get your MP back, even if that's just chain canceling from time to time. Let's see. And so I guess maybe just to keep this all in one video, chain canceling. I realized I didn't explain the why the Lightbringer spam works. Just the things that all kind of pulled it together. So But we'll look at the chain canceling part of things, even if it might be redundant for some other video. So chain cancel, and we'll do a demo of how to do a chain cancel. Summoner 120% so that I build max MP when I chain cancel, and the Gambler 120%, well, 50 and 120% also, so that every time I chain cancel, I get a random amount of MP back. The more luck you have, the more MP you get back. So that's why most of these gear pieces happen to be carbuncle. I'm so sorry, I glossed over this. Most of my gear is Odin because it came from an Evoker set. But Fenrir, if you're going for agility, you want Fenrir first. But Odin, Sylph, Shiva, Carbuncle, they're also good substitutes for high agility. Whoops. And then, what are we looking at? So when you chain cancel, a chain cancel is using a job action or combo ability and then switching jobs before the animation ends. So let's say I'm using my controls are different, but so let's say I use heart shot or analyze my job action, and then I change jobs before the animation finishes. It's the idea that I'm getting max MP and recovering MP based on my luck. I don't actually do that during combat on most of these builds, and if I do, it would be a very different, call it combat flow type of build. So that's the Summoner 120% and the Gambler 120% with a lot of luck in play. And then the Samurai, we're ignoring that because we're not using it on this build. And then the other reason why we have the buffer build is the reducing the cost of your MP abilities, command abilities, and then as well as being able to cast Analyze and Barrage. Analyze the Hunter's job action, Heart Shot, and the Barrage so that we get even more hits in there. And I realize this video is getting pretty long. I have no idea how long it is. But just kind of making it comprehensive. And also I haven't posted anything in the public for a while. Like I have like 30 videos that are unlisted, but but yeah, so I have luck on every piece of gear, or almost every piece of gear, just to help me get my MP back on chain cancel, and I have buff duration, so that my analyze doesn't just last 15 seconds, it lasts longer. That's the hope anyway. And then, reiterating, I do have one piece of Leviathan to make this all work. So here's hoping I run in there and I don't get completely killed. And just kind of a heads up, if you want to keep your party members alive longer without building them fully to be tanks, Lionheart, the accessory, or Knight 400% will make them invincible when you do the left, like the D-pad left or the D-pad right, and see that purple bar, how it's going down on their names, or magenta bar. They have the old school invincibility. They cannot be touched during invincible. Versus us, we can still be, we can be grabbed, all this other stuff, which is kind of weird. But I digress. Oh, actually, I think their invincible is a better version of ours. I digress. Let me not make something that's completely false, so we'll keep going. Lightbringer duration. I want their invincible to last a long time. So the hope here is that with that Lightbringer duration stacked up on every single piece of gear, that their invincible is... What is happening with the spear? Oh my gosh, that is the wrong spear entirely. What happened? Shoot. Well, we're going to worry about that some other time. So the invincible thing going on here, man. Sorry, train of thought. Now I'm wondering what happened to that spear. I think I just destroyed her spear for the assassin. That's the only logical explanation. Okay, I'm sorry, backing up. So each of them have Liberator 600%. And originally, Sophia pretty much had just Samurai and Breaker, just all the way through, just as stat sticks for my other Evoker. But for our purposes, we'd want them to have Samurai and Assassin on every single piece of gear, Liberator 600%, so that 12% of their stats get transferred over to us, even if it doesn't show up on the UI. Uh, so that's the other thing is it does not show up on the UI for some reason. But behind the scenes, if you have Cheat Engine on the PC, you can actually check out um, Jack's real stats, and you'll see that his agility is getting high, or getting 12% of whatever the other two party members are getting, as long as they're alive, which is what Knight 400% will help us do. And so we're giving, in this particular case, they each have strength and agility on every single piece of gear, and Lightbringer duration, so that they can help us out. Whew. Okay. Let's buff up all the buffs. And then we're gonna go in here. I made them invincible just now. And for the most part, I am just pressing the same button the whole time, which is exterminate. I am exterminating them. So the first one is like that. And now we're just torturing him. But yeah, that's how the HP damage of the Exterminate build would go. And the numbers are just going to keep... Well, okay, he's gone. He's just gone. Okay, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. I chose Bikke because other bosses have too many heads, and it's just not fair. But let's just try Marilith for a moment, because Marilith is also a problematic boss for high agility. I am intentionally... Let me just do this. So, just to make us suffer horribly here. We're not going to do the... we're not going to do this other one. But just as an example, we have a long loading screen. I could edit this out, but that's not what we do here. We don't edit stuff, Ben. Okay, so again, long video. It's probably over 10 minutes at this point. I apologize. ×2 speed? Maybe I should have said that at the beginning. So chain cancel. Ooh. Am I missing something? Okay. So, not as fast. Well, it also doesn't help that I quite literally added a bunch of buffs to the enemy. But yeah, general idea of how that might play out late endgame. Where right now, if you're on the floor 70, there's a lot of components you can still put together to achieve similar results. But yeah, I hope that helps. And I hope this is not like 20 friggin' minutes. But yeah,